Welcome back to Old Times is Not Forgotten, where we read old newspapers together. Today is a brand new newspaper for my channel. It's the St. Paul Dispatch from St. Paul, Minnesota, dated Thursday, December 9th, 1926. We'll start with this feel-good story. Jolly St. Nick spends entire morning visiting pupils over city. Thousands of St. Paul school children today join Santa Claus's Smile Club. At every school where the jolly visitor from the icy Cape stopped with his reindeer in the morning, the boys and girls pledged themselves to become members of the Smile Club and smile at everyone from now until Christmas Day. And all who smile from now until Christmas, Santa declared, will find themselves smiling for the entire 365 days of the coming year. Smiles keep him young. Santa told the youngsters that smiling is what has kept him young during the many, many years of his life. Ever since he arrived in St. Paul, in response to the invitation given him by the Dispatch and Pioneer Press and the children of the city, he has been urging everyone to follow his example and make others happy by being happy themselves. In the 20s, front page news was always the Prince of Wales. Wales draws beer at pub tap, treats crowd. The saloon owner of the Bricklayers Arms asked the Prince of Wales to visit his bar and have a drink. Wales was willing enough, and escorted by a merry group, he went into the tavern. Here was the usual gathering of customers, who quickly recognized the royal visitor, cheered him, and shouted, "What do you have?" "A glass of beer, and I shall draw it myself," replied the prince laughingly. Then he went behind the bar and drew a foaming glass, and after he had sampled it, it was handed around among the crowd and soon was emptied. Wales stayed in the tavern for a while, chatted and joked with the crowd, and then returned to the Legion concert. A big crowd awaited his departure. The people cheered and sang, "For he is a jolly good fellow," and pushed his automobile some distance down the road. Here's something businesses don't do anymore, but in the 20s, businesses always gave you a freebie when you bought something from them. Free, a 100-piece dinner set to all customers who buy a piano today and tomorrow. $1 down, $1 per week. Only $195 for this fine player outfit. The Minnesota Piano Company, 68 West 7th, 2 blocks above Wabasha. Did you know that in the 1920s, some umbrella handles were made from milk? Umbrella handles robbed little pigs, not babies. Paris. The French Chamber of Deputies has just discovered that suckling pigs and not babies are the chief sufferers in the manufacture of Tom Thumb umbrella handles from milk products. Charges by Deputy Admiral Jarez in the course of a debate on the agricultural budget produced much indignation among his fellow deputies, until one of them observed that the composition made from which the handles are made are derived not from fresh milk, but from buttermilk, and that the only sufferers are suckling pigs, the sole consumers of buttermilk in France. Ooh, how would you like to get a 1926 car for Christmas? The ransom of a prince could buy no more princely gift. Give golden moments and hours of restful, easeful transportation this Christmas. Give princely luxury and beauty. Give a Buick. Every eye will rest lovingly on its graceful, stylish lines, finished in rich Corinthian colors of Duco, whatever that means. Everyone who rides in it will enjoy the effortless performance of an engine that is vibrationalist beyond belief. The ransom of a prince could buy no gift more certain to win the heart of every member of the family. The greatest Buick ever built. Pence Automobile Company, corner of 5th, 7th, and Exchange, St. Paul. Whoa, here's an odd story from Mandan, North Dakota. Bob Watson, 22 years old, hotel clerk, pick and shovel cement worker, natty swain of the young women, former miner and rodeo rider Wednesday, joined her husband, Glenn A. Halling, on a farm near Price, North Dakota. Her masquerade locally as a young man came to an end after more than a year's residence here, when Chief of Police Nels H. Romer of Mandan and Chief Martison of Bismarck called in a Red Cross nurse and others at Bismarck Tuesday evening to settle their suspicions on the matter of sex. Bob, quotation marks, had cashed a check on a Mandan bank with a Bismarck grocer. Funds were insufficient, and Bob was arrested but released on making good the amount and payment of a fine when arraigned before Justice Harry Crane. Why, I've been wearing men's clothes and working as a man for years. Men's clothes cost a lot, less than girls' clothes, and besides, posing as a man, I could travel with my husband and get jobs along with him, she told Chief Police Romer. In September 1925, Bob obtained a job as a night clerk at the Niji Hotel here, holding it for 6 months. She, or he, had a high voice but got by. She rustled Hugh's chunk of ice and did a man's work. A row over a telephone bill ended the job. Then Bob got a place with a gang of laborers tearing out old cement, sidewalks, and paving at the Mandan Federal Building. But hustling heavy wheelbarrow loads of refuse proved too much for her. Here's a newspaper comic in the Some Things Never Change category. Getting the present in. Doorbell rings, peers out of the window to see who it is. Makes frantic signals to wife, which wife fails to understand. Whispers to get Myrtle out of the way quick. It's her doll carriage being delivered. Hurries to the door while wife invents imaginary errand to get Myrtle upstairs. Starts to open door but finds Myrtle in hall, demanding why she should go upstairs and who's at the door. Tries frantically to make Myrtle listen to reason and to keep out expressman who's getting tired of holding doll carriage. Get Myrtle upstairs at last and bundle in Myrtle immediately reappears where parents try feebly to hide bundle behind them. Gets doll carriage safely down cellar at last. Let's see what a night on the town consisted of by going to the movies in this paper. At the President Theater, popular matinee today, best seats 50 cents. Smart lines, hearty laughs, scandal. At the Capitol Theater, John Gilbert in Bardley's The Magnificent. Or at the Astor Theater, Norma Shearer in Upstage. How about the Tower? Eleanor Glynn's Love's Blindness with Antonio Marino. At the Palace Orpheum Theater, Vaudeville Plantation Days, America's Foremost Colored Review, 25 all-star cast, including famous Pepper Chorus. But here's the one I would watch because it has a flapper, Jaqueline Logan, in a smashing picturization of the famous Richard Harding Davis novel, White Mice.
downhearted lad. He had a tear in his eye. I wondered why he was so sad. Then he whispered to me with a sigh, the pal that I loved stole the gal that I loved, and took all my sunshine and joy. Nobody but he was a buddy to me, since we played on the floor with our toys. I just can't believe my old pal would deceive. Gee, but I'm heartsick and sore. The pal that I loved stole the gal that I loved. That's why we're not pals anymore. Just can't believe my old pal would deceive. Gee, but I'm heartsick and sore. The pal that I loved stole the gal that I loved. That's why we're not pals anymore.
Do you have a hobby? Here's a story about a St. Paul woman who had an unusual one. There was the erstwhile St. Paul woman, now a resident of an eastern state, who had made a collection of shoes of all nations. Foot coverings of all sizes and kinds and uses she had gathered from all over the world. Every friend who went into a foreign land returned with shoes representing the footwear of the country or countries visited, thus augmenting her own collections made on her personal journeys. With every shoe came further knowledge of the country and its customs, the part that the history and religion played in its fashions, the story of the textiles and the leathers from which the shoes were made. A hobby is a good outlet for tired nerves, no matter how simple the hobby, and it is a good steed. It often carries its owner into comfort, usually into splendid opportunities to serve his fellow men, and always into the land of pleasure. This channel is my hobby, and I do enjoy it. I hope you liked it too. Thank you for watching.